The laboratory hummed with an electric tension as J. Park adjusted the final calibrations on his experimental quantum resonance device. Outside the reinforced windows, the sprawling research campus of Earth's most advanced scientific complex stretched into the distance, a testament to human technological ambition. Jay's fingers moved with practiced precision across the holographic interface. He was different from other researchers. Where they saw limitations, he saw possibilities. The device before him represented years of secretive work, funded by a global consortium of governments and private investors who believed humanity was on the brink of something extraordinary. The quantum resonance generator looked deceptively simple, a sleek cylindrical structure about the size of a refrigerator. Its surface gleamed with intricate nano-etched circuits that pulsed with a soft blue light. Years of mathematical calculations and countless failed experiments had led to this moment. As the system powered up, strange energy patterns began to emerge. The lab's sensitive monitoring equipment started registering readings that defied conventional scientific understanding. Electromagnetic fields twisted and warped around the device, creating localized distortions that seemed to bend the very fabric of physical reality. Jay noticed something unusual. The quantum resonance was generating a field that could theoretically neutralize any known energy signature. It wasn't just a defensive technology. It was a complete paradigm shift in how energy could be manipulated and controlled. Unbeknownst to Jay, distant alien observation posts were also detecting these unprecedented energy signatures. Monitoring stations spread across multiple star systems picked up the unusual quantum emissions, triggering immediate high-level communications among various extraterrestrial civilizations. A warning klaxon suddenly erupted in the laboratory. The quantum generator was producing energy levels far beyond initial predictions. Jay's colleagues watched in a mixture of terror and fascination as the device began to create a stable quantum field that seemed to exist simultaneously in multiple dimensional states. The implications were staggering. This wasn't just a scientific breakthrough. It was a technological revolution that could fundamentally alter humanity's position in the universe. The ability to control and manipulate energy at a quantum level meant potential solutions to problems ranging from interstellar travel to weapons development. Outside the research complex, preliminary reports were already being transmitted to global leadership. Military strategists, scientific advisors, and political leaders began emergency consultations, understanding that the technology Jay had developed could change everything. What Jay didn't realize was that his invention would become the catalyst for humanity's most significant leap in technological evolution. The quantum resonance generator represented more than just a scientific achievement. It was humanity's declaration of technological superiority to any potential extraterrestrial civilizations. As the device continued to pulse and generate its extraordinary field, Jay made a critical adjustment. The quantum resonance stabilized, creating a permanent energy signature that could theoretically neutralize any known form of technological interference or weapon system. The laboratory fell silent. Jay looked at his colleagues, a mix of excitement and profound understanding passing between them. They knew they had just changed everything. Humanity was no longer just a planetary civilization. They were about to become a galactic force to be reckoned with. In the quiet moments that followed, the quantum generator continued to hum, its blue energy pulsing with a promise of untold potential. Humanity's greatest technological revolution had just begun, and nothing would ever be the same again. Little did the researchers know that thousands of light years away, alien civilizations were already receiving the first signals of humanity's unprecedented technological breakthrough, and they were beginning to feel a collective sense of impending transformation. Would you like me to elaborate on any specific aspect of this narrative section? Dr. Wu Li stood at the edge of the massive research platform, watching the holographic displays shimmer with complex data streams. The communication technology he was developing wasn't just another scientific project. It was humanity's ticket to revolutionizing galactic interactions. His team had discovered a breakthrough that made traditional communication methods look like primitive smoke signals. By manipulating quantum entanglement principles, they could transmit information instantaneously across impossible distances. No delay, no signal degradation. Pure, perfect communication. The first test involved connecting 3 distant human colonies, separated by thousands of light years. When the system activated, something extraordinary happened. Not only could the colonies communicate, but they could share entire database systems, technological blueprints, and complex scientific information in milliseconds. Alien monitoring stations detected these transmissions and were immediately confused. The speed and complexity of human communication networks were unlike anything they had ever encountered. What seemed impossible to other civilizations was now a standard operational protocol for humans. Dr. Lee understood the strategic importance of what they had created. This wasn't just about communication. It was about creating an instantaneous, interconnected human network that could respond and adapt faster than any known galactic civilization. Each colony could now function like a single, unified organism. The technological implications were profound. Planetary research stations could share medical breakthroughs instantly. Military strategic information could be transmitted without any risk of interception. Economic systems could be synchronized with unprecedented precision. What made the technology truly remarkable was its adaptive nature. The quantum communication network could self-repair, reroute, and optimize its own pathways. If one connection point was compromised, the entire system would automatically reconfigure itself within microseconds. Alien intelligence agencies began studying these transmissions with increasing anxiety. The humans were developing technology that defied their understanding of physics and communication. Each new human transmission revealed layers of complexity that seemed almost incomprehensible. Dr. Lee's team wasn't just creating a communication system. They were building the infrastructure for human galactic dominance. The speed and efficiency of their technology meant that human colonies could coordinate and respond to challenges faster than any existing civilization. Military strategists quickly recognized the potential. The coordinated human response could now happen in real time across multiple star systems. Threats could be analyzed, strategies developed, and resources deployed with a speed that would make traditional warfare obsolete. The quantum communication network became humanity's nervous system. It connected research facilities, military installations, colonization efforts, and economic centers into a single responsive entity. Where other civilizations saw separate systems, humans created a unified, adaptive network. Alien diplomatic channels began discussing these developments with increasing concern. The humans weren't just advancing technologically, they were rewriting the fundamental rules of galactic interaction. Their ability to share and process information was transforming them from a planetary species to a truly interconnected civilization. Dr. Lee watched the holographic displays, understanding that he wasn't just a scientist. He was helping to create a technological infrastructure that would define humanity's future. Each data stream represented not just information, but potential. The potential to reshape how intelligent species could interact and grow. As the quantum communication network continued to expand, it became clear that humans were no longer just participants in the galactic community. They were about to become its architects, builders, and potentially its most unpredictable and innovative members. The technological leap wasn't just about speed or efficiency. It was about demonstrating that human potential could transform from a planetary limitation to a galactic opportunity. And Dr. Wu Li was at the very center of this extraordinary transformation. Would you like me to elaborate on any specific aspect of this technological narrative? Admiral Ta Xin reviewed the holographic strategic map with cold, calculated precision. The alien confederation's political structure was complex, but to a human military strategist, it looked like an intricate puzzle waiting to be dismantled. Human strategic approach wasn't about destruction. It was about systematic, psychological deconstruction. Each move was calculated to demonstrate technological and intellectual superiority without firing a single weapon. The aliens would be defeated through intelligence, not violence. The first phase involved economic disruption. Human communication networks intercepted and analyzed alien trade routes. Within weeks, they created alternative pathways that made existing alien economic systems obsolete. Entire planetary economies began collapsing without direct military intervention. Diplomatic channels became strategic weapons. Human representatives didn't argue or threaten. They simply presented technological solutions that made alien political structures look primitive and inefficient. Each diplomatic meeting was a calculated demonstration of human potential. Intelligence networks worked with unprecedented efficiency. Quantum communication allowed instant information sharing between human strategists. What would take alien civilizations months to understand, humans processed in minutes. Their adaptive intelligence became their most potent weapon. The psychological warfare was subtle but devastating. Humans didn't show aggression. They showed possibility. Every technological demonstration revealed how far behind other civilizations were. The aliens began to understand that resistance was not just futile, it was mathematically impossible. Alien military leaders watched in growing desperation as their most complex strategic plans were predicted and neutralized before implementation. Human predictive algorithms could model potential conflict scenarios with such accuracy that alien military actions became transparent. Technological superiority wasn't just about advanced weapons. It was about understanding complex systems and manipulating them with minimal effort. Humans could destabilize entire political structures by introducing small, precise technological interventions. The alien confederation's internal communication networks became compromised, not through direct hacking, but through sophisticated quantum infiltration techniques that allowed humans to understand and predict alien decision-making processes. Their entire political system became readable like an open book. Strategic points of alien infrastructure were systematically isolated, not destroyed, but rendered irrelevant. Entire planetary communication systems were made obsolete by human technological alternatives. The aliens could either adapt or become increasingly marginalized. Diplomatic meetings became showcases of human potential. Where aliens expected confrontation, humans presented solutions. Where aliens anticipated resistance, humans demonstrated collaborative possibilities. Their approach was so fundamentally different that it confused traditional galactic power structures. Economic systems began restructuring around human technological standards. Alien corporations and governmental structures found themselves either adapting to human innovations or becoming extinct. The transformation was so complete that resistance became economically nonsensical. Admiral Ta Xin understood something profound. True domination wasn't about conquering through force. It was about rendering existing systems so inefficient that transformation became the only logical path. Humans were rewriting the rules of galactic interaction. The Confederation's leadership realized they were facing something unprecedented. Humans weren't just another emerging civilization. They were a fundamental redesign of how intelligent species could interact, grow, and evolve. Their approach was revolutionary. By the time the alien confederation fully understood what was happening, the transformation was already complete. Humans had dismantled their political, economic, and technological infrastructure without firing a single weapon. Strategic domination had been achieved through pure intellectual superiority. Would you like me to elaborate on any specific aspect of this strategic narrative? President Min Kim stood on the massive observation deck of the United Earth Galactic Council, overlooking the holographic representation of multiple star systems. The room was silent, filled with representatives from hundreds of alien civilizations who had come to witness humanity's formal announcement of the new galactic order. The restructuring wasn't about conquest. It was about creating a collaborative framework that would elevate every participating civilization. Humans had demonstrated that technological superiority didn't mean domination, but opportunity. Each alien representative understood this was a pivotal moment in galactic history. Quantum communication networks had already transformed how civilizations interacted. Where barriers once existed, humans had created bridges. Scientific knowledge, technological innovations, and cultural exchanges now flowed freely across previously unimaginable distances. The old model of isolated planetary civilizations was gone forever. Economic systems were the first to transform. Human-designed adaptive technologies allowed smaller civilizations to leap decades of technological development in months. Trade became something more than exchange of resources. It became an exchange of potential. Planets that were once economically isolated now had direct access to galaxy-wide opportunities. The military structure underwent the most dramatic change. Instead of competitive warfare, a unified galactic defense network emerged. Humans didn't eliminate alien military capabilities. They'd redesigned them. Each civilization could now contribute to a collective protection system that made individual conflicts obsolete. Technological standardization happened naturally. Alien civilizations realized that human-developed technologies weren't tools of control, but platforms of collaboration. Research facilities across different star systems could now work simultaneously on complex problems, sharing resources and insights instantly. Educational systems were revolutionized. Quantum learning networks allowed instantaneous knowledge transfer. A young researcher on a distant planet could now access the collective scientific knowledge of thousands of civilizations. Learning became a truly universal experience. President Kim's approach was revolutionary. Humans didn't demand submission. They offered partnership. Each alien civilization was invited to contribute its unique cultural and technological perspective. The galactic structure was being rebuilt as a collaborative ecosystem, not a hierarchical empire. Diplomatic protocols transformed. Where once negotiations involved complex political maneuvering, now they focused on collective problem-solving. Conflicts became opportunities for innovation. The human approach demonstrated that diversity was not a weakness, but the most powerful evolutionary strategy. Environmental restoration became a collective priority. Human technologies allowed planetary rehabilitation on scales never before imagined. Ecosystems that were once considered permanently damaged could now be restored. The concept of planetary health became a shared responsibility. The alien representatives watched President Kim with a mixture of respect and wonder. They were witnessing something unprecedented. A civilization that had the power to dominate but chose to collaborate. Humanity's greatest weapon was not its technology, but its vision of collective potential. Communication barriers disappeared. Translation technologies developed by human researchers allowed not just linguistic translation, but cultural understanding. Every civilization could now truly understand the nuanced perspectives of others, breaking down millennia of misunderstandings. Resource distribution became equitable. Human-designed economic models ensured that technological advancements benefited all participating civilizations. No single species could monopolize critical resources or technologies. The playing field was being permanently leveled. As President Kim spoke, the holographic display behind him showed a living, breathing representation of the new galactic structure. It wasn't static, but dynamic, constantly adapting, growing, and evolving. Each civilization was a node in this magnificent network, contributing and receiving in equal measure. The galactic restructuring was complete. But for humanity, this was just the beginning. They had not conquered the galaxy. They had invited it to become something entirely new. Would you like me to elaborate on any specific aspect of this final narrative section?